What's up, guys? This is the BoardGameRoamer, and I'm here with an unboxing of Tiny Epic Zombies. This is a Gamelyn Games title. Plays 1 to 5 players. Says 30 to 45 minutes. Who knows? For real. So this is another Tiny Epic game in the Tiny Epic series. Previous titles: Tiny Epic Galaxies, Tiny Epic Defenders, Tiny Epic Quest, Tiny Epic Western. At this point I have, I believe, everything but Tiny Epic Kingdoms. I do have the Ultra Tiny Epic Kingdoms, but really cool game. I was a backer for this. Also, I am taking the opportunity to plug this mat. Now, I've really gotten in, really got to where I love these neoprene mats that replace the game boards, or in this case just give you kind of a place to lay everything out. This is not necessary for the game at any level. It's just nice to have. As a matter of fact, today I saw, and I don't think it went live today, but I did see it on Kickstarter. They have a neoprene mat for Raiders of the North Sea. So I really like that. I like having these and can lay these out, and you don't have the boards, and of course it's got the grip on the back. So on a table, plastic table, or your if you're playing like a kitchen table or something like that, it's not going to move around. Really awesome. Just thought I would show this to you right quick. You can see most of it in here. This was an optional buy. I don't know that this would be available in a store until they do another Kickstarter. That's usually what happens with these. For example, Tiny Epic Quest, I backed that and I didn't get the mat, and then when I backed this one, I ordered the mat for that as well. So that's how that's going down. So Tiny Epic Zombies. What is Tiny Epic Zombies? Well, basically you play as the survivors or the zombies in this, because you can play, you're trying to save people, or you can play kind of like as the bad guy, and you're trying to, you can do co-op where you're playing together, or you can play against each other competitively, or of course solo, and you're trying to save the people. You're going to have basically a mall you're going to have to move through. Zombies are going to populate. You can search for things in the mall. You're going to have objectives that you have to complete, supplies that you can find, weapons you can find, things of that nature. So let's take a quick look at the box. Of course, it's the typical classic Tiny Epic Zombies size. There we go. And of course you can see Tiny Epic, Defenders, Dark War, we've got that. Quest, we've got that. Galaxies, we've got that. Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. Now this is a departure from the Tiny Epic series. Looks like a really awesome game. I did not get in on the first Kickstarter. I did, however, get in on the second Kickstarter, all in, so I'll be getting everything that they will have released up to this point whenever that finally does ship, which will probably be next year. So of course we have our rule book, and a lot of text in here. You're kind of doing the same thing. You're doing, you got some dice that are involved with this. Wounds and ammo, so it's an interesting mechanic where you have these two trackers on your board, and if they ever cross or meet each other, that's how you die. So you have to kind of manage those two things to try to keep them as far apart as possible. You can find items, you find crates. There's a lot of iconography in this game, probably a little bit more so, I think, than in some of the other titles. Tells you how to set up, how you can move. There's specific ways you move around the building, right? That you move around here. So in other words, you can't start here and then go to this room. You actually kind of have to go out. Very much like Tiny Epic Defenders is what I think of in that regard. You have objectives to complete. There's the competitive 2 to 4 player version, cooperative, competitive 3 to 5, and then somewhere in here is, yeah, there's the solo rules and some definitions. So that's cool. So what do we have here? Let's see here. I think, yeah. So this is the deluxe edition, by the way. So I think that maybe I'm going to go with this assumption for now, that this is the deluxe content. So we're just going to set it to the side just for a second while we check out the rest of the main normal box. So here is a bunch of stuff. So I believe these cards have like the A side and B side, similar to Tiny Epic Defenders. So there's a motorcycle potentially you can get, and a police car that you can use to basically move around. So that's what those are. Then you have zombies and these little barricade tokens, some things to track, player colors to track abilities and such that have been used. And then you've got your wound and ammo tokens. Right there. It's hard to see, I know. And then of course you have a bunch of your little, those are really hard to see, a bunch of your little zombies. So you can see there's actually very small components. That's going to be interesting. Looks like your classic 5 player colors. I see it's like a blue, red, orange, green, like a pink. That's what the player cards. There's 5 different colors anyway. And of course, while we're doing that, in classic fashion, and I really think, just a way of commentary, I guess, I really kind of think that at this point, because I've already seen the trailer for Tiny Epic Mechs. I don't know if that date has been released yet, but that's coming. But ever since Tiny Epic Quest, at this point, I feel like pretty much every title is going to use the meeples. So just be prepared for that. Let's just dump these out. So we got a chainsaw. That's pretty cool. We have a hatchet. Melee hatchet. We've got a Uzi or some weapon like that. We got crowbar, pistol, crossbow. Maybe that's an Uzi. Another gun. Shotgun, samurai sword, machete. Looks like I don't know if it's a sniper rifle or an M16. There's actually the gun, the shotgun, machete, and, well, maybe this is, 4 players. There's 4 player colors, I'm sorry. This is the barbed wire bat. You can't really tell even up close. It's kind of questionable, but I do remember that from the Kickstarter. So you'll of course be able to utilize those. Don't see any backpack items though. Those all look like handheld items. Of course the meeples have the option so you can turn them either way, or use one side for your hands and the other side for your backpack. And here I am putting these in here without the meeples. Kind of an odd player color choice here. I would think that they would have stuck with the classic colors, because I can see somebody that's colorblind having a hard time. I would think, I've got a buddy of mine that's colorblind that plays games with me, and I would think he'd have a very hard time differentiating in the right kind of light between a couple of those colors. And here's your melee dice. So taking wounds, zombies showing up, etc., etc. It's only 1 die. So it's not a bunch like in Tiny Epic Quest. We have a baggie with tokens, crates, and objective markers and things of that nature in here. Then we've got, okay, here we go. Here's our locations and our player cards. Now the cool thing about this game is that they're really smart with the player cards, because what they've done is, let me kind of break these down into the different sets. All right, here we go. So you've got these player cards, right? So on the one side, you've got who you are, and this is where you're going to track your health and your ammo as you expend it. And it's got what you do on your turn, your special ability. So you've got all these things. You've got a teenager, a fry cook, the athlete, the pop star, the hippie, the doctor, the janitor, the mechanic, the greaser, the scientist, the mall cop, the teacher, the photographer, and the survivalist. So you've got all these people, right? So this is who you play. Well, as these people die, as your players die during the course of your game, or if you're playing competitive and you have somebody playing the zombies, there's rules for zombie placement that they follow. But the flip side of every one of these cards is the zombie version of that player, right? So this card, the survivalist zombie, makes it harder for you. Certain things happen with the zombies, and different abilities are gained as different things happen, and so they all have these tracks in the back. Basically, this is how the game, other than just placing zombies in your way, is trying to get back at you. And as your characters die, kind of these, I guess you would almost think of them as zombie lords show up and try to mess with you, which I think is pretty cool. It's a very smart way to do that mechanic-wise. So why are you playing? Well, you have competitive, and cooperative objectives. So this is cooperative: save the stranded, call the CDC, fix the helicopter. And competitive is things like escape the mall, investigate the source, escort the army, etc., etc. So you have all these different things that you have to do, and you'll notice on most of these that they have some sort of track that you're going to track your progress with as you complete the objectives. And then once you get all the objectives completed, then obviously you win. All right, so that's what those objectives are going to be. And you may have multiple objectives. So then we have, of course, the card for cooperative, competitive, cooperative. So they'll be laid out something like this, right? And then you have these rooms, and you'll see different icons. For example, that icon there, or there's a little an icon here, right? So there's all these icons in different places, and these have to do with supply decks and other cards. So you would like shuffle these up, and I haven't read the rule book, and it's been a while since I looked at the rules, but basically these are going to go in, something like, just kind of randomize them out here, something like this, right? And like that. And then so this is what you're going to be moving around. And so you can see it says search card, search card, search card. Da, da. So in each room, right, there's a deck of cards. Not many. Okay, this is not a whole lot of cards here, but there are some. So looks like there are, come on. So you have all these cards, and you'll notice they've got those symbols on them. So what you do, I believe, is you sort these in the pile based on the room, right? And you've got some of these green ones could either be found here, for example, or here. Some of them are vents, like Previous Additional Zombies. Some of them are negative events, like this one is, you lose an item that you carry. But this is how you get items like the crowbar, the axe, the bar bat, the chainsaw, golf club, machete, assault rifle, shotgun. All those meeples items that you have, that's how you get them, is through these cards. And some of these things are going to give you health, some are going to give you ammo, some are going to give you stuff that you can equip, some of them are going to just be items that are kind of like in your backpack that you can carry around and use. And in some scenarios, like for example this frequency card, it says specifically that it's used, it can be used in the CDC scenario. So you have to like collect those and search for those. So that's what the cards are about. Not a ton of cards, but you know, it makes you do have to do some exploration and moving around in order to try to find and get some weapons and cards to be able to complete the objectives that you need to complete. So that is the core main box, okay? And I'm not 100% sure. I think that, I don't know. You may not get all this painted if you didn't get the deluxe edition. Excuse me. But that is the deluxe edition. So give me 1 second. I'm going to kind of clean this up, and then we're going to take a look at the deluxe expansion. I was really expansion. It's really just adding a few things. So give me 1 second. Let me get this cleaned up, and I will be right back with you. All right. So here's the expansion. Yeah, I just kind of moved all the stuff to the side because it's all going to end up going back in the same box. All right. So let me just kind of pull all this stuff out here. So we have some additional gear cards. There's the Ninja Stars, Bazooka, Katana, the Service Dog, and of course it does have the zombie version as well. So here's the meeples and the dog. Pretty cool that it added. Then you have some additional player characters. You have the lawyer, the burglar, the farmer, and the trucker, right? And of course, you have the zombie version of all these. Now, I'm assuming that there's really no, adding this expansion doesn't really change any kind of gameplay, because literally this is all the expansion is. It's a handful of these cards and a few new people, right? I think, or maybe that's part of the deluxe, but that's what's in the deluxe box. Okay, so that is Tiny Epic Zombies by Gamelyn Games. I will look forward to getting a playthrough out on this soon, hopefully. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing. I'm the Board Game Roamer. Keep playing games, keep having an awesome time, and I will see you, ladies and gentlemen, in the next video. Bye, guys.